This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, thank you, Babu. Perfect. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about first basic Power BI concepts. Okay. So Power BI is a analytical reporting tool. Okay. Power BI is a analytical Power BI desktop. Power BI is a analytical reporting tool. Power BI has two different panes. So one is Power BI designer, then second one is Power Query editor. Okay, so Power BI designer is a place where you're going to design the reports, okay, dashboards and all. What is Power Query editor? Basically, Power Query editor is a place where you're going to apply your transformation techniques in Power Query editor. So suppose whatever you're able to see is your Power BI designer, because you're able to see visualizations, fields, filters, different icons. So if I want to see Power Query editor, how to do that? Simply you have to go and click on edit queries. Okay, guys, here you need to understand one thing. Whatever the Power BI version is there in my local system, it is older version. You will be having a latest version. Okay, in the latest version, instead of edit query, you will be having a transform tab. Okay, so that is nothing but your edit query. You can click on transform data also. Transform data also will try to route, I mean it will try to navigate the control towards your Power Query editor. Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so Power Query editor again internally categorized as 4 parts. Okay, what are those? Within the Power Query, we have 4 different panes. What is the first pane? This is called top ribbon pane. Okay, so then you have query pane, then you have something called data pane, and you have something called query settings pane. Okay, so internally Power Query editor has categorized as 4 different things: top ribbon pane, query pane, data pane, query settings pane. So first what I'll try to do, I will try to import some sample tables to my Power BI desktop. How to do that? Simply go to recent sources or new source. New source is something when you're trying to log into your data source for the first time. Since I have already logged into SQL Server as a data source, and I have imported some sample tables to Power Query editor. So instead of going for a new source, I will straight away go for recent sources, and I will try to connect to SQL Server as my data source. I will try to connect SQL Server as my data source, and I will try to select the sample tables. Okay, see, let me say dim customer, uh, dim date, dim geography. Okay, so dim product category, dim product subcategory, and let me select one fact internet sales table. Okay, so click on OK. So it is asking for import query and direct query mode. We will discuss in a separate session. When do we actually go for import mode? When do we actually go for direct query mode? But for now, let me import all the tables using import mode. Yes, successfully I have imported the tables to Power BI Power Query Editor. Now, what do you mean by ribbon pane, data pane, query settings pane? Okay, so if you see here, on the top, whatever you're able to see, file menu, so these entire options are going to be treated as your top ribbon pane. So actually my pen is, wait, okay, what I'll do, let me take a, so whatever you're able to see, something like this is going to be your ribbon pane. So this is your top ribbon pane. What is called top ribbon pane, where you will be having different options to perform, to transform your data. So that is called top ribbon pane. Top ribbon pane is a place where you'll be able to find all the options related to your transformation activities. Okay, so what is a data pane? Again, if you want to see the data pane, whatever you're able to see, this portion of whatever you're able to see the data, this portion is going to be treated as your data pane. Okay, top ribbon pane, then so this is your data pane, that is your top ribbon pane. Okay, now what is a queries pane? Queries pane is nothing but once you imported the tables to your Power Query editor, all the tables that you have been imported to your Power Query editor are going to be stored under queries pane as a tables or queries. So this is how you can call this as a queries pane. See, this is your queries pane. Now what is query settings pane? Query settings pane is a place where you will be having property related activities. Apart from that, one important thing in terms of query settings pane is called, just a second, let me put it somewhere here. So this is your query settings pane. So in query settings pane, there is one important step called applied steps. What do you mean by applied steps? So the reason of implementing applied step is whatever the activities or the actions that you are going to perform under this particular Power Query editor, each and every activity is going to be tracked as a new step. Whatever the activity, when I say transformation, it can be anything. It can be combining two or more columns, or it can be anything. Suppose let me go to, say, if I want to see the dim customer data, see, this is the data pane where you're able to see. Suppose before going for any kind of modification, I feel, title column, for most of the columns I'm able to see null values. So I can say that I want to delete this particular column since I'm getting some null values. Okay, before going to delete, you just need to right click and remove. Okay, but before going for any kind of delete operation, try to see here, do you find any other steps other than source and navigations? No, but try to observe after deleting what it is happening. Okay, see, I'm right clicking on the title and I'm just trying to say remove the column. So that means a new step has been added as part of implementing this transformation. So that means applied steps is a place where you are going to have each and every activity level information is going to be tracked under applied steps as a new series of steps. Suppose unfortunately or unknowingly I have deleted a specific column. Okay, now I want to roll back the settings. So generally in Word or in Excel, anything, whatever you type, so if you want to roll back the old changes, then what you do, generally Control Z. So the similar kind of logic, do we have anything in Power BI desktop? So the option is yes. How? Simply you are going to click on the into mark. Whatever you're able to see the into mark, right? Simply you're going to click on this particular into mark. Automatically the column is going to be rolled back. So whatever the operations that you're going to perform under this Power Query editor, it is going to be tracked as a new series of step under query settings pane. Any questions till this point? Surya, Vinod,
No, sir. Yes.
clear, right? Okay. Naveen, do you have any
Yes, sir.
question? Okay, next.
No, sir.
Okay, apart from this, so we have discussed about the basic things. Now apart from this, we need to discuss about some basic SQL concept, very important concept called basic architecture. Basic architecture of SQL. Basic architecture of SQL. I'll try to show you something for you. Basically, this is your SQL basic architecture. Right. See, if you see the SQL basic architecture, it is going to be have total 6 number of clauses. Okay, 6 number of clauses. Select clause, from clause, where clause, group by clause, having clause, and order by clause. Okay, how many clauses are there? We have total 6 clauses. So one is select clause, from clause, where clause, group by clause, having clause. So order by class, select class, from class, where class, group by class, having class, and order by class. So when we're talking about any select statement, can you imagine, can you imagine without having select a keyword and without having from keyword, can you imagine any select statement or any query? So it is not possible. So out of 6 clauses, how many clauses are mandatory clauses? How many clauses are optional clauses? That we need to understand that. Okay. So as part of doing that, see, without having a select and from clause, you cannot imagine a query. Okay. So to implement this, so let me open to my Microsoft SQL Server database. I have a requirement. I'm just trying to open SQL Server. I have a requirement something like this. Okay, display number of employees, comma, sum of salaries along with the department number, comma, job, where there exist more than 2 employees in a specific department number, or let us consider only for one column. Right. Yes. So I'm just trying to connect to my SQL Server database through SSMS tools. What is SSMS? Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. What is SQL Server Management Studio? So SQL Server Management Studio is a tool to connect your SQL database. Okay, so I'm just trying to connect to SQL Server. Now, once you connect it to the SQL Server, under databases, you're able to see some databases here. What is AdventureWorks? AdventureWorks is a sample database which has been created by Microsoft. For what purpose they have created? They have created this for practice purpose. Okay, so that means in this database you will be able to see list of tables, list of views, list of tables. Okay, so now come back to this and I'm just trying to open a new query. Okay, now generally if I want to see the data of a particular table, hope guys, in the last week we have covered a DDL, DMLs, everything, right? Data sublang. So did you guys get a chance to practice on all the scenarios? Surya, Rupa, Ram, Naveen?
I'm still practicing, sir. I mean, still not confident, but
Yes,
still practicing.
yes, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. So you got long weekend, yeah. Okay, so try to utilize your timings. Okay, fine, no problem. Just try to spend some time in doing that. Okay, right? Because every day it is going to be. See, today we are going to discuss about architecture, which is very important in terms of DB. What is SQL? How many clauses will be there in the SQL? When to use select class? When to use group by class? When to use having class? When to everything we are going to discuss in today's session. So that is the reason every day it is going to be important. So I request you to spend some time to practice on daily basis. Perfect. Now go back to our SQL. So when I say if I want to see the data, what I am going to do? So I have to say select to start from dim customer table. Suppose I want to see a customer's data. So what I will say select start from dim customer table. Perfect. Now can you imagine any query without having a select and from classes? So this is a select query. You're able to get the result. You're able to see some result. That means without having any other column. See how many clauses are there? Total 6 clauses are there. Select from where group by having order by. So that means if you don't provide where class, or if you don't provide group by class, or you don't provide having class, or if you don't provide order by class, also you will be able to write the select statement and you will be able to execute and query the data. But without having a select statement and from statement, it is not possible. So that is the reason you can call this as a mandatory clause. Okay, from class this is also mandatory clause. What about where class? It is optional. It is optional. What about group by class? It is also optional. Having class optional. Okay, so then order by class it is going to be optional. So select and from classes are the mandatory classes. Now let us just try to deep dive into each and every class. Okay, what do you mean by select class? When do we actually go for select class? Okay, so select class is a class in the output, whatever the values or whatever the columns that you are able that you want to see, only those columns you are going to put under select class. Suppose you have dim customer table with so many columns, but in that you want only two columns. Out of all these columns you want only two columns saying, say, gender comma suffix. Assume And if you execute, suffix spelling is wrong. Yeah. So execute. So out of all the list of columns within the dim customer table, you will be able to see only those columns which you have placed in the select class. Okay. So generally you have to better to write in this way. So this is your select class. So select class is a place where you are going to place or whatever the column that you want to display in the output, that columns are going to be kept under select class. What about from class? Whatever the column that you are placing in the select class, are they coming from which table, which data point they are coming from? Suppose you have used gender column, you have used surface column. As I told you, we have to write our code in such a way that your SQL server has to understand, right? So how your SQL server will understand? You have to give a proper notation. So the moment server sees select keyword, so that means it will expect number of columns to be present. So after seeing first column comma second column, if there is no comma after second column, so that means that is going to be treated as the last column. So server will try to understand that it has to display only two columns, that is gender and prefix suffix. Okay, fine, but from which table I have to? That way server will think. So in the from class you are going to provide the name of the table. Okay, so from class is purely meant for to implement the table names, implement the table names, right? So that is a use of select class and from class. Now here there is something called aliasing. Okay, aliasing, but we'll discuss maybe tomorrow aliasing. Okay, but for today we are going to completely cover on SQL architecture, right? What is the where class? Suppose uh, out of this result, out of this result I want only data related to a particular gender. Say I want only data related to female. So is it possible? So then, yes, so that means I want to display out of all the records, only female records I want to display. That means I want to filter or I want to append or apply some conditions. So where are you going to append or apply the conditions? So that kind of condition that you're going to apply in the where class. So where class is going to be used for applying some condition. What is your condition? You want only data to related to female. See, out of 18,484 records, you want to display only those records for for which the gender is M or F. Okay, so for that, how to do that? So where gender equal to F. So it will try to display only the records related to female. See, these are the data. So out of 18,000, only 9,133 records are related to female in gender. So that is the use of where class. So that is the use of where class. So I can say where class is for applying the filter conditions or any kind of conditions, right? Now what is group by class, that we need to understand. Now to understand group by class, first of all let me select, there is a table called select star from emp underscore, I think merge table is there, right? There is a table called emp underscore merge. Mm, t underscore emp merge, we'll see. T underscore emp. Now I should actually have some data. Okay, okay, better I'll try to create. Already I've created actually the table t underscore t underscore ddl underscore dm. We'll see data is there right now. uh, employee. No, I'm just trying to looking for a kind of table where you have a proper data. No, this table. Okay, let me straight away create a table. Okay, where is the table? Yes, this is a table, right? I will take one new window. So how to create a table? We have already discussed it. Okay, t underscore emp table. I'm just trying to create t underscore emp already is there. Huh? Okay, what I will do? Mm, emp underscore test. Yes. Let me create it in a simple way. emp underscore 10:30, right? 10:30 a.m. Okay, right. Table got created. So I have created table name called emp underscore 10:30 a.m. Now I want to insert some sample records into this particular table. So I'm just replacing everything with this. You have to replace, right? Right, right. Okay. So I have created, I just updated the table name. That's it. Okay. In the existing script, I have updated the table name. My table name is emp underscore 10:30 a.m. So I have created this table and I'm just trying to insert the record into that particular table. Okay. So at a time I'm inserting some records. Does not match. Okay. Uh, insert into table name values of 7. Okay. What I'll do. Where is that? Control copy. Say what I'll try to do, since already this table is there, right? I'm giving just underscore 1 or 1 table 1 say 1 control H. Let me create a table called, oh, 1 is also is there, 2 is also is there, t underscore emp underscore test. Okay, don't require any foreign key right now. Simply I'm just trying to create a small table. Test is also is there. Okay, test 1. It is giving some error saying already the table names are there. On top of it, actually I'm trying to create. So okay, I have created a new table. I'm just trying to replace this with the new table name instead of t underscore emp, and I'm just trying to replace the new values. Right. So successfully I have created the insert script. Now what I'll do, I'll try to execute the script. Column number of invalid number of columns. Okay. What happened? employee number, employee name, job, employee number, employee name, job, manager, hire date, salary, commission. Okay. 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 Right. Now let me insert this. Yes. Perfect. Okay. One record got inserted, and let me insert second record also. Okay. So what is the first column? Employee number, employee name, job, manager, hire date, salary, then commission. Okay. This is already there. Okay, already there record. This is supplied values are employee number, employee name, then job, then manager, hire date, salary, commission. Okay. Ideally, you should have a department number column also. Number, say int. Okay. Instead of 1, you can say 2. Right. I'm just trying. Just now I've changed the table name. So, right. Right. So I have created a table called t underscore emp underscore test2. Now I'm just trying to see select star from t underscore emp underscore test2. So this is my result for that particular table. This is already I have explained you in the previous sessions, like how to create a table, how to insert the sample records into the table. We have seen. Now my requirement is, suppose I want to see data based on a particular grouping. So I want to see data based on the department number column. Say finally my output should be something like DEPT number. I want to see, and what is the sum of salaries. Okay, so that means under department number 10, what is the sum of salary value, and what is the count of star value. That means under a specific department number, how many number of employees are working, and what is the total salary for that particular department I want to see. So simply I'm going to write, what is that you need to see? Department number. I want department number, right, comma, sum of salary values, comma, count of star. From which table you want? t underscore emp underscore test2 table. Okay, right. So if you execute this, will this executes or not? No. The reason behind that is, see, department number is a normal column, whereas sum of salary is a group or aggregated column. Department number is a non-aggregate column, but whereas the rest of the two columns are aggregate columns. So remember one mandatory rule: whenever you're applying any kind of output concatenation between normal columns and aggregate columns. So what is a normal column? So I'm trying to display the output normal column department number along with the sum of salary or count of stars along with the aggregate function. That time definitely you have to use a clause called group by clause. Under group by class, whatever the normal column that you're going to provide in the select class, that columns simply you're going to copy paste here and put semicolon. And now try to execute this. This is what the result that I'm expecting. Okay, so under department number 10, there are 3 number of employees are there, and This is going to be the sum of salary. Department number 20, department number 30. So guys, are you clear till this point? Surya, Nani, any questions?
Sir, could you please repeat one second?
Sure, sure. Okay. Let me take an example. Group by exclusions. So what I'm trying to drive you the point is I'm trying to explain you the importance of group by. What do you mean by group by? Okay. Yeah. Suppose this is my table. So assume I have a employee table, something like this. Now I want to display each department number wise what is the sum of sales amount and how many number of work how many number of people are working. Say under department number 30, how many people are working and what is the sum of salary. Sum of salary. All these things I want to display based on the grouping. Okay. So how to achieve that? Simple thing. Internally, you have to write a query something like this. But when you write a query, select by writing some group by conditions, this will go and hits your Oracle server. And in the server side, what happens? Server will segregate the data in different things. See, for your confirmation, for your convenient purpose, I have mentioned yellow color for only department number 30. I have given some other color for department number 20. I have given some other color for department number 20. So out of the table data, I have splitted the table based on the department number. All department number 30s at one place, all department number 10s at another place, all department number 20s at another place. After placing that, I'm going to calculate all the sum of, like, first value plus second value, third value, fourth value. But at a department level, I'm calculating, not all. Under department number 30, how many employees are there? For that only, what is the sum of salary? I'm trying to calculate this. So internally, it will try to calculate and it will try to give you the result, something like this. So whenever, as I told you, what is the use of select class? So in the select class, whatever the column that you're going to provide, those columns are going to be displayed in the output. That is perfect. But if you see, department number is a normal column. Sum of salary is the aggregated column. How can you say that this is the aggregated column? What do you mean by aggregations? Okay, so generally we have some list of aggregate functions are there. Okay, so those are, just a second. What is aggregate functions generally? So we have aggregate functions something like sum, minimum, maximum, average, and count. These are the aggregate functions. So that means in this, I want sum of salary. So this is something like aggregate function. Count of star. This is aggregate function. So when you're trying to club normal functions, normal columns along with aggregate functions columns, so then you have to use group by class. You have to use group by class. When you have to use group by class, when you're clubbing normal column along with the aggregate column, so then you have to use group by class. And in the group by class, whatever the normal column that you're going to use along with the group columns, that column you are going to copy paste here. Is this clear, Surya?
Yeah, clear, sir.
That is a mandate rule. Suppose, so this is giving, okay. Now there is something called as alias. Alias, what do you mean by alias? Think about normal way. What do you mean by alias? Alias is nothing but an alternative name. Say, mostly in the criminals, they will say Raju alias some XYZ, or some XYZ, Muhammad alias something other name. So it is an alternative name to the existing name. Okay, suppose If you see the output label, you will be able to see no name column. By default, it is giving something else. Suppose instead of that, if I say sum of sal, I'm just giving, so this is a total underscore salary. So if I execute this, now try to see the label for the second column. So the label is total underscore salary. So if you want to give such a kind of label, so we are going to use a alias. Okay, column alias. You can give column alias. You can give any name, but try to give a proper name. Suppose even I can give for count also. Say I can give something. Okay, if I execute, I'm able to get that same label, but try to give a proper value. See, count underscore count of records. So try to give some kind of proper naming convention. Okay, now here I have a question. Is it only for aggregate columns we are going to give a alias? For normal columns don't we are supposed to give? It is up to you. If you want, you can give. Suppose department number is a normal column, I'm giving some alias, I'm giving just any name. So this is working. So that means you can give aliases not only for the normal columns but also for the aggregated columns, but always try to give a proper naming convention, right? So now this, suppose now I'm able to see department wise total sales salary amount, right? I want to aggregate based on the department wise and job wise also. So for that, what I will do, suppose I will add job column also in this. Okay, if I execute this, sorry, go to this. If I execute this will give error. Why? Because you have added one more normal column in the select class. Remember one thing, whenever you're adding normal columns along with the group by columns, along with aggregate columns, you have to copy paste all the number of normal columns. Simply you have to copy and you have to paste in the group by class. If it is you are able to see two columns, you have to simply copy paste and in the group. If you have three columns you are going, you have to do that. So if you see the result of this, see, this is how it is going to. So that means, see, I want some proper order. I want right now I'm able to see some different order. I want some proper order. For that purpose, there is a separate class called order by class. So order by, suppose I want to order the complete result based on the department number column. So if you simply say, see, now proper order 10 10 20. See, if you see here 10 10 10 under department number 10, there are one clerk employee is there, like that. Suppose if you see under 20, under department number 20, two people are working as analysts, and under department number 30, 4 people are working as a salesman. These are the total sales amount values. So guys, till this point, are you clear or do you have any question? This is very important, group by class and all. So Naveen, Surya, Rupa, Ram, Vinod, are you guys okay, or do you want me to repeat one more time, or what is that?
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah.
Clear, sir.
Sorry, clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see, when I execute this internally, if you want to see the logical representation, see, the data is something like this. So server, what will try to do, it will categorize based on the department, not only based on the department, whatever your criteria is there in your several class. So in this situation, the criteria is department along with the job. So it is going to be set split something like this, and overall it will calculate and it will display in the end. Okay, so try to practice this group by class at least today. Simple thing, group by class. Today we have discussed about select class. from class, group by class, order by class. Order by class is very simple. Whatever the result that you're able to see, if you want to give some proper ordering, so then we generally go for order by class. Is it something always my order by class should be on department number? No, it is not like that. So suppose you want to order based on the salary, total salary one. Okay, so instead of department number, you're going to see C. Now try to see first 950, then 1100, 1300, 2400, like that. Suppose I want to order in a reverse order, that means descending order. So is it possible? Yes. How? Simply you are going to say DESC means descending. DESC means descending. Simply click here. See the total result that you are able to see based on the descending order values. Guys, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So I actually need to catch up in the next meeting. But actually, I was facing some kind of connectivity issues in the morning, so that is the reason I'm not able to connect on time. But tomorrow onwards, it is not going to be happen like that. Okay. Try to take this query. Okay. Try to practice on select class, from class, group by class, and order by class. Select class, whatever the column that you want to see in the output, those columns are going to be keep under select class. From class is purely related to the table names. Group by class, whenever you're using in the select class normal columns along with group columns, so then you have to use group by class. Again, within the group by class, you are going to place the normal columns which you are used in the select class. Order by class, whatever the result that you're able to get, if you want to get the order of that particular result, so it is something we are going to use order by class. You can either go for ascending or you can go for descending order, but by default it is going to be ascending values. Clear, guys?